everybody, this is Justin,
And this is Riley.
and today we are talking about The Mandalorian 2 months after it already finished premiering on Disney Plus.
And many months after our last recording.
Actually, it's been more than 2 months. Hold on, that concluded in December. What didn't it? It's been about
Man,
three.
time's going by fast.
Yeah, our last
A year.
upload was in December, though. I do know that much. I think it's been a long time. Sorry about
Yeah.
that, folks.
So as we're on to the Mandalorian, let's talk about how Jon Favreau, is that his name? Last name?
Yeah, Favreau. I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
Jon Favreau. How has he impacted Star Wars on a whole nother level that hasn't happened in many years?
Well, okay. First off, I don't think it's just Jon Favreau. It's Dave Filoni as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know who Dave Filoni is, but he also helmed Clone Wars and Rebels.
No, I did not know he helped with the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah. It's really both of them, really, because they both helmed the show.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think there's such a huge difference between how they're handling Star Wars versus how J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson handled Star Wars with the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
And they redeemed it. I mean, they gave us something that felt very authentically Star Wars, you know? And
I agree.
what do you think, like, how, in what ways do you feel that this show kind of made Star Wars good again and brought it back to where it's something that is special, you know? Because I feel like with the sequel trilogy, the direction that was going, Star Wars was in danger of just becoming another run-of-the-mill sci-fi series, and Mandalorian made it special again. So I was just wondering, like, in what ways do you feel that Mando succeeded in doing that?
I mean, you see, there's this feeling I get whenever I watch the 1977 Star Wars. It's so authentic, you know. You know it's good just by watching it, and that hasn't happened many times since the sequels were done with.
Yeah, and I think part of it is, for one, it seems like they actually have a plan this time. They actually know where the story's going.
Yeah.
Unlike the sequel trilogy.
So do you think that they didn't have a plan with episode 1, 2, and 3, or?
Well, with episodes 7, 8, and 9, they did not plan that story ahead. Like, it was so obvious they were just winging it for all three movies.
Yeah.
And
what about episode 1, 2, and 3?
Oh, George has had the prequels planned before he even started making them. He had.
Got it.
Yeah, no, that was planned from the start.
Got it.
And you can tell the difference between a series that knows what it's doing and knows where the story's heading versus the show that's just kind of winging it the whole time, you know? Like,
yeah.
Force Awakens established a lot of things that ended up going nowhere. Like, Supreme Leader Snoke, he's not important. But I actually genuinely feel like everything being set up in the first two seasons that we've had of The Mandalorian is important, you know?
Yeah. And it connects to Star Wars, as we've seen with Luke Skywalker, the places they go in the show. It's fully connected to what George Lucas already made in the Star Wars universe, while doing its own thing, going down a plot that Star Wars fans have been yearning for decades now.
Yeah, and you know, I'm really hoping they could do a whole spin-off show on Luke's Jedi Temple and him training Grogu. I would love to see that, and him training.
They can do a lot of spin-offs on a lot of things and do better than what the sequels did.
Yeah, and I'm glad we actually got to see Luke post-Return of the Jedi the way we wanted to see him. You know, like him being a Jedi in his prime and all that stuff. Like, that was so cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's been so long since authentic Star Wars has been here, and I feel like whenever Episode 7 came out, we we forgot what authentic Star Wars was. So we were like, we just loved Episode 7 at the time because we forgot how authentic Star Wars could be.
Yeah, it felt like it was just a lot of retread, a lot of what we've
Yeah.
seen before. But this is something new. And you
Yeah.
know, what makes Mando so genius is that it kind of brings Star Wars back to its roots in a way. Because if you watch the first movie, it's a very simplistic story. Like, it's good. It's really good, obviously. But it's very simplistic and easy to follow in nature. And all the characters are very relatable and lovable in a way, you know? And
Yeah.
Mandalorian brought it back to that simple type of storytelling that made the original trilogy so accessible.
I love that. I love how you put that just now.
I thank you. And another cool thing that they're doing with this series I noticed is, if you didn't know, the original trilogy was very much inspired by a lot of Japanese movies, like movies by Akira Kurosawa.
Really?
Particularly The Hidden Fortress. And Mando seems to be going back to taking inspiration from those old samurai films. There's this movie, I don't think it was made by Kurosawa, I don't remember who made it, where it's this samurai soldier literally taking care of this child, this kid. And you can't help but, like, I think even Jon Favreau has said before that movie actually served as an inspiration for The Mandalorian. And I can't remember what the movie was called, so I will put it up on screen for you guys later. Sorry about that, but
You gotta love how some inspirations are made. I mean, going that far back, the fact that they used this in 2019 season 1 and to start off this show, you know?
yeah, and again, Star Wars was always known for taking inspirations from older stories and making them something new. And Mandalorian is doing that in a way. And
you know, I feel like Episode 7 took inspiration from Episode 4, while Episode 4 took inspiration from another thing.
Well, the original Star Wars was very much influenced by Flash Gordon, samurai movies, and Western movies.
Yeah.
And you're right. Episode 7 is kind of weird because Episode 7 just kind of took inspiration from itself.
Yeah.
From its own series in a way.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. And Mando's going back to taking a lot of these old stories and putting a new spin on them. It even takes a lot of stuff from old Western movies. I mean, if you watch the episode that introduced Boba Fett in season 2, there are some interesting little like nods to old spaghetti Western movies, and it's just cool. And even like the soundtrack sounds kind of
Yeah, I agree. The soundtrack is amazing. Definitely one of my favorite soundtracks of all time in a TV show.
Yeah, and what's great about that soundtrack to me is, what was I gonna say? So many shows that are related to Star Wars, like, fall into the trap of trying to sound like John Williams music, which of course, John Williams defines the sound of Star Wars, but Mando did something different.
That's its own thing.
Yeah, and it gives the show its own identity, but it still somehow feels like it fits. It still feels like Star Wars.
Still has its roots where they need to be.
Yeah. So it really works for the show. And yeah, it is very different from what Williams gave us, but it's a good different. It fits.
Yeah.
So
Has George Lucas said anything about The Mandalorian?
I don't know if he's ever said anything about it, but I do know he showed up on set for certain episodes sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen him because I know that he knows Jon Favreau, because I think
Jon Favreau posted about him on Instagram.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah, so I know he was at least there. I don't know if he's actually said anything about it. I have a feeling he loves the show, though. I have a feeling he likes it.
Yeah.
And I think it was... I remember hearing about how... I don't know if they're going to do this, but I think they originally brought in George to help with Grogu a little bit
Oh, really?
because that species is fairly unknown
Yeah.
in 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 like the Star Wars universe. We don't even know where Yoda comes from. Fun
Yeah.
fact.
Yodaville.
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, I remember if this is, I don't know if this is entirely true, but I think they did actually bring in George to help out with information about the species and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for all I know, maybe it was George that was like, "Hey, Grogu should be 50. This is what he would look like at 50 years old." Who knows? But man, okay. I remember when that first episode aired, and they said they were looking for something for a person that was 50 years old. I did not expect Grogu whatsoever. Like, and I had so many theories around in my mind, like, oh, what if it's some Jedi that survived Order 66 or something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he goes in the room, and he opens that little like floating thing that he's in, and it's Grogu, you know, and it was such a great hook for the show because you had to know.
Yeah. And it made you want to watch the next episode.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how much Grogu blew up the second that episode aired. Like, that episode aired, and you go online, and there's memes everywhere. And
yeah, and it got popular even among non-Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I have a friend on Facebook who isn't really that much of a Star Wars fan, but she still posts memes of Grogu all the time. So everyone still insists on calling him Baby Yoda, but whatever.
Definitely one of the biggest Star Wars characters ever.
Yeah, I mean, I even bought a plushie of him, so.
Yeah.
But can we also talk about how great this show looks, by the way?
Yes. Oh man, the visuals are great. There's some great shots in it. The cinematography. Whew.
Yeah, and especially for a TV show, which typically
it feels like a movie.
Yeah, it feels just like a movie.
Yep.
And especially, I remember one particular scene that really impressed me as far as the effects and stuff go was the crate dragon in the first episode of season 2. Phenomenal. It looked phenomenal. And something cool, I don't know if you noticed this, but in that first episode with the crate dragon, whenever they started to confront it, the aspect ratio changed to be wider to make it feel like IMAX. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't know if it was actually shot with IMAX cameras. It probably wasn't, but just doing a little thing like that just makes it feel so much bigger, you know?
Agree. I also like how every episode is like its own story while it's all one big story.
Yeah, and a lot of people complained about the filler, but I actually enjoyed pretty much every episode of this show. So
Agree. None of them got boring.
The only episode I had a little bit of an issue with was in season 1, and it was that one episode where they went to Tatooine. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Like, they, I'm trying to even remember exactly what happened in that episode. I just remember they went there, and that's where they met, like, one of the bounty hunters. And then at the very end of the episode, Boba Fett showed up. But you didn't know it was Boba Fett at the time, it was just his feet.
Yeah. You're talking about the one where they, where he worked with the bounty hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I liked that one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I just think it might have been the worst one in the show that we've had.
Which is still good.
Yeah. No, this show really set a standard, and I really hope that the following Disney Plus Star Wars shows can hold up to it.
Yeah.
I do have my small concerns for season 3, and the only reason is because the dynamic between Grogu and Mando was kind of the heart of it. And with Grogu gone, I'm kind of wondering if it can still capture the same lightning in a bottle of those first 2 seasons had.
I don't think there should be a season 3.
Well, you kind of need to do a season 3 because there's still some things that are left hanging, like the fact that Mando has the dark saber now, even though he doesn't want it. Like he doesn't want to be ruler of Mandalore, but he has the dark saber now.
True.
And I don't think they ever really concluded the whole thing with Moff Gideon. I think, like, I remember he got knocked out, but I'm kind of wondering if they had more plans with his character in the next in the next season. But
I wonder if Baby Yoda, Grogu, might make a return in next season.
If we do, it might be like a thing where maybe he goes to visit Luke's Jedi Temple to see him, and because I do remember, Mando did say he will see him again. He promised him.
Yeah.
In that last episode.
Yeah.
Did the
No.
did the CGI bother you on Luke's face during that last episode?
It did. Yes, it did. That's actually what I've been thinking about this whole entire time we've been recording.
Oh, yeah. It did look pretty off. I've seen videos where people have been doing deep fakes of it, and the deep fakes look better than what we got.
Yeah.
I will say, though... What's up?
That was the iffy thing going.
Yeah. I was going to say, I will say that, like, when R2-D2 showed up, dude, I was so happy, though.
Yes. Yes, that was great. It always bugs me, though, why Obi-Wan doesn't know who R2 is.
Episode 4. In episode 4, there actually is an in-world explanation for that. In one of the books, it's called A Certain Point of View, which tells smaller stories during the events of episode 4. And they show that scene. And later, after, like, when Luke isn't paying attention, Obi-Wan goes over to R2-D2 and goes, "It's good to see you, old pal," implying that, like, he was faking it because he didn't want Luke to know that he knew R2.
Got it.
So, the books actually do explain that one. But, yeah.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. I don't know what the explanation would have been before that, though. Maybe it was just a simple fact that maybe he just didn't want Luke to know that he knew who he was, or... there's probably like a billion droids that look like R2, so maybe like he just didn't know if it was the same one. But yeah, that's the current explanation.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, man.
I don't.
What do you rate Mandalorian?
Oh, the Mando gets a good 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty great.
Well, I think that's all I got for tonight. You got anything else to say?
No, but thank goodness this show happened.
Yeah, I think this show really kind of put Star Wars back on the map, so...
And it needed it.
Yeah.
It was desperate for it.
Yeah, because episode 9, dude, whew, that was bad.
Yep.
Anyway... Talk to you guys later. Thanks
Adios.
for... Hopefully, if you guys stay till the end, thank you. We love you all. All 2 of you.
You and me.
Alright, talk to you guys later. Bye.